Johnny Organo, and you're listening to the Turnbuckle Tavern podcast. Oh, it's Wednesday night, and you know what that means. It's the All Elite wrap-up down at the Turnbuckle Tavern. God damn it, I'm good old Mike BELCASTER. I am back, baby, like Kenny Powers in Season 2. And joining me is this wonderful, wonderful crew of gentlemen. I think that's what we call each other, right? Gentlemen. So. Starting with this man right here.
Me, the OG Fig Kid? I'm here. Mike, it's good to have you back. I thought you were retired. I read your Instagram post tonight. I was all confused.
Yes, I don't repost shit when I fuck up, and I fuck up a lot, so deal with it.
You're actually going to deal with Fightful Select. The grass is greener on the other side. He's leaving for brighter pastures.
Maybe, but also joining us is the third man down here.
What's going on, guys? It's the ace of the tavern, Stephen ACEFIELD. Happy to be back, and happy to have Mike BELCASTER and the OG Fig Kid back. It's nice to have all four of us in here, breaking down everything that happened tonight. It's a good show.
Fuck yeah. And speaking of good shows, it can't be a good show without our fourth man down there.
That is so sweet of you, Mike. I might have to give you a little bit of kissy on the cheek. That is so sweet. Look, Mike, it's good to have you back. You've been gone for so long. I started to think you and Tom were the same person. I couldn't see you in the same room at the same time. It was a crazy kind of ordeal. I started to think you mesh into one person, but I am the Australian icon, Nick effing Storm. I'm stealing that from you, Mike. Thank you. But dude, fun Dynamite. This was a good time. I'm excited to get into it with you guys.
Hell yeah. What a show it was. It was a great show. I thought it was a great show.
It was a great
show. I had a lot of fun watching tonight. It's good to sit down in my own dormitory house livings and to watch Dynamite finally. Not in the fucking middle of the mountains with Hawk and the Howler Nut.
Dude, taking the show on the road, man. That's what you were doing, and you were trusting the Wi-Fi to get your Dynamite fix, but you're a true professional.
I tried.
Getting it all in. And the fact is you're back here, and we're back to talk about Dynamite, and man, a lot to break down.
Hell yeah. I mean, listen, we can get right into it once I find the videos, because I haven't done this in a while. But yes, let's get into some news, gentlemen.
What do you guys want to talk about?
Yes, you want to talk about Claudio.
Yeah, I mean, look, you were talking about not finding the videos and stuff like that. Good thing you weren't here last week. I played Redeem These Nuts like maybe 5 times accidentally.
That was our transition to every single one. It was Redeem These Nuts.
Redeem These Nuts, man. That's the new segment. Yeah, the news.
I'm okay with it. Yeah, man. What's going on?
All right, so in the AEW news, we have the first thing and a hint on BT. So this is a little bit of a deep cut if you guys weren't following along on BT, but the Young Bucks were dropping a Hangman teaser. So they showed at the end of the episode a written message by Matt where he was reaching out to Hangman because on storyline they have no friends, and we're seeing a little bit of the Young Bucks having an issue with forming alliances since Kenny Omega has been gone. And the message read, "Hey man, I think it's time we talk. Can we forget about the last couple of years? You're one of my best friends, and I feel like we just need to have one conversation. It can fix it all. I love you, dude." Matt deleted the whole text and doesn't send it. See where this goes. I know they like to build long-term storylines on BTE. Mike BELCASTER, do you see this happening live on TV, or is this just one of those dropping hints for fans of BTE?
I'm feeling it, and I'm glad we're incorporating some BTE news in here because it's half of the show. You know, you can't watch AEW without watching BTE because they put over so many good storylines over there.
You get in trouble. I don't watch BTE.
Oh my goodness, you're missing out.
No, you know what you do instead, Tom? You watch CTE. You gotta keep that.
But yeah, listen, I would love to see a sort of reunion between the Elite, the original Elite. You know, maybe Kenny comes back. We get Hangman coming in. We get the Bucks. Maybe little nods to Cody. You know, over the BTE line. I'm all for it, man. I totally can see it happening.
We didn't have any closure on what happened at the end of the match at Full Gear with when he went over the top rope and they let him hit the buckshot lariat on Kenny and they just nodded at him with approval. We haven't gotten any sort of closure to Hangman and the Bucks relationship. They've been two ships in the night avoiding each other. I think it would be cool to have them together. I know we saw Hangman with the Dark Order tonight, but why not be, aligned with two different teams? It's okay to have that going on.
And the funny thing is with tonight as well, I feel like majority of the crowd maybe saw that BTE bin and was like, maybe the Bucks would want to try to turn face, and they were actually getting cheers tonight. The Young Bucks, even they were saying, we created this damn company, kind of being heelish here and there. They were still getting cheers about it. It's kind of like that kind of underdog kind of baby face. You know what I mean? You're an asshole, but you don't care what anyone thinks, and you still get cheers. That's what it kind of felt like a little bit. So I don't know, man. Maybe they're looking more to a face return when Kenny comes back. I think I'd love to see him as heel because he's just great as heel. Him and Donna are like a perfect match made in heaven. But we haven't seen face Kenny in a long time, and I think that's what the little kids need. You know,
what the babies need. Do it for the
I mean,
children.
the Bucks have no direction right now. It just feels. I know they are the tag champs, but it feels like they're floating out there. It feels like the uncrowned tag champs of AEW are FTR, and rightfully so. And the Bucks are in the background when they were talking about this tag match. Everyone was chanting for FTR, acting like they should be in the match. You mentioned the best tag team, and FTR is not in it. I don't know. Maybe that's intentional. You want to build some sympathy for the Young Bucks and have a nice face turn, a nice little face run for them, but we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
All right. As far as our next story goes, we have AEW announcing a partnership with Diamond Select Toys. Unsure if you guys mentioned this on Fig Night, so I'll kind of gloss over it a little bit.
Good.
So AEW is partnering with Diamond Select Toys, and they will be releasing their first line at San Diego Comic-Con later this month. The line will launch with a 2-pack of vinyl figures at San Diego Comic-Con. The 2-pack will include CM Punk and Sting. So if you guys want more information on that, go to Fig Night, check it out. I know that they will follow up and show you guys the pictures as they are released. So pretty excited. I saw some of the pictures of the prototypes. They look really cool.
They do. Very, very pumped for those.
I didn't get to. I didn't get to touch on these on Fig Night because I was absent. I was getting tied by kangaroos constantly every week here. But dude, some of these figures I saw them and I was like, these are like the little. I used to have little sort of. They were like kind of Lego, but they were knockoff Lego, but they had their own unique style to it. And I had them as a kid. I had like a Superman, Batman, so these hit home because they're exactly the same way those figures were engineered. So I like these a lot, and especially because it's the first time we've seen Sting and Punk, like you said, Mike, or CM Sting in a figure form, if you will. So it's cool to see, and excited for this, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm buying it just because it is the CM Punk and Sting mutual tribal face paint as they put on there. I think on the box it says CM Punk and Sting in their mutual tribute face paint from AEW Dynamite Holiday Bash. So I'm here for that. I'm pumped for it.
100%, man. Could not agree more.
Next thing in the news here, we have Britt Baker with a new article in Mel Magazine. So this is a story about Britt Baker's origins. Mel Magazine is a pop culture magazine for people, not a wrestling magazine. So if you guys are checking out, it's written by Ian Douglas, who has written some great pro wrestling books. He wrote a great autobiography, a biography about Brian Blair, Bugsy McGraw, and Bob Holly. It's worth checking out the article if you want to see it drop digitally. It's available right now, but be on newsstands later this month. Cool to see Britt getting some shine out of the wrestling lore. They're talking about her coming up as a dentist, the struggles through school, and her balancing both work and professional wrestling. So pretty cool.
Hell yeah. I dig it.
All right.
Yeah.
We have another little snippet from that Kenny Omega Twitch interview, as we dropped last week with him saying about his injuries, and if there's a setback, he will be retiring, as he said informally on the air. This quote was pulled from here as well about Jim Cornette. I want to bring it out there. I'm not sure how people feel about Jim Cornette. There's a very polarizing figure in the wrestling community, but this is the quote from Kenny Omega. I think Jim Cornette has backed himself into a corner where now he's found this group of extremely pathetic human beings who have no other thing to aspire to become, or no one to base their life off of, no one to listen to, no one to adhere to their commands. So he went pretty strong on Jim Cornette. Nick Storm, I ask you about this. Do you think Kenny Omega has a right to say what he's saying about Jim Cornette, or do you feel like it's unjustified?
I feel like 100% it's completely justified. If you hear anything that Jim Cornette says about Kenny Omega, they've never been the best of friends on social media, in the wrestling, whatever may have you. They've never gotten along, and this is just another instance of that. I think there is some truth as well to what Kenny is saying here. Jim Cornette, popular in the 80s, maybe still has that mindset. You know, wrestling evolves, wrestling changes. If it was the same constantly, it would just be kind of boring to follow. So I think you have to have evolution in whatever it is. Kenny, these two, they have a big rivalry. I think it might be Kenny's biggest rivalry ever. So
yeah, that's true. Maybe they're working together behind the scenes. They're like pulling the strings. Like, what can we make people talk about?
Can you imagine?
Today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next story. We have Dax Harwood, as we know, posted a photo of him hugging Sasha Banks and talked about standing up for what you believe in, being supportive for her a while back when she just left WWE straight up with Naomi. He recently spoke to New York Post in an article. So this is a longer article, but essentially, I mean, a longer quote. Essentially, he's supporting them in a big way. And I want to highlight one thing they said. So he had said, if I would have stuck around and stayed in the same position that we were in, there's no way our brand would have grown. So know exactly what she's going through and what she's feeling. And she probably was feeling that I don't feel respected. I could be doing way more. If I continue to stick around, I'm going to continue to get pushed to the side. So it's a longer quote. You guys can check out the article in New York Post. Tom, I'll bring it to you. You're a big FTR guy. You guys just did the Sessions episode about FTR, about their run that they've been on. Do you think Sasha could have a renaissance in her career if she moves away from, maybe she goes to AEW, maybe she runs the Indies? Could she potentially do what FTR did and revitalize their career?
I think, no doubt. I don't think she's even seen the height of her career by far yet. And I think that is. I actually agree with her. I don't think WWE has booked her as strongly as she should have been booked. She just never got the big win. So I think she could go shine somewhere else if they let her do her thing.
Yeah, a lot of what people are saying, and Cash and Dax both said this in their messages, they use the word crybaby. That's what we've heard about Sasha Banks, where people said they should just be happy they have a job. And, you know, Dax and Cash were saying the only way differences are made, whether it be in wrestling or not, if people stand up for what they believe in. And, you know, with Sasha, like her or don't like her, she did stand up for what she believes in.
Yeah, and remember, we haven't heard Sasha's side of the whole story yet. We only know what WWE put out.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm waiting for that Talk is Jericho to drop. Like that.
Right.
That's the path to AEW. You stop at Jericho, you know.
Head on to the pastures. I think Sasha's going to do fantastic outside of the business. And I don't think it was that she didn't get the right push. I just think that she didn't get right creative control maybe. And they were heading in a different direction with which they are now. And she just wasn't involved in it and not part of it. So I would back out too. I want to be out in the fucking stand. I want to be the main event, not the fucking mark behind the goddamn barricade.
I mean, sometimes it's not even about championships. FTR, they were tag champions both on Raw and SmackDown, and they were also NXT tag champions, but they wanted more. They wanted to make a difference. And obviously, if they didn't make the choice they did, which was a hard choice, they turned down a lot of money, they would not have been on this run they've been on. So you have to sometimes take that risk. And whether you like Sasha or not, she is taking a risk because it's a guaranteed spot. It's like, it's a safety net for her in WWE. The unknown is scarier. And I give her a lot of credit. She may not have gone about it the same way that maybe people would have agreed with. Maybe she should have handled it differently. But if you want to make a point and make other talent feel like they have a voice, sometimes you have to act in a way that brings attention to your situation.
Yeah.
All right. Any other thoughts about the Sasha stuff, or should I move on to the next story?
Next story.
All right.
Go for it.
Next story. Marco Stunt felt it was kind of lame when his name was mentioned on AEW program recently. So he had said he was not aware of his name was going to be used on AEW programming. If you guys don't remember, Christian did tell Luchasaurus, remember what happened to Marco, and said they need to talk. That's pretty much what turned Luchasaurus heel, allegedly. The following week, Christian was in Luchasaurus's corner as he defeated Serpentico. So his quote was, "I was not aware that it was going to be said or anything. For them to do that in context, I thought it was kind of lame. I mean, it makes sense in a way, though. I was part of the group before him, and basically what he's saying as he came in and got me fired. So in a story sense, I love it. In a real life sense, hey, it is what it is, I guess." So Marco Stunt hasn't been seen on there. Obviously, his contract expired. He recently seen in GCW. Mike Belcaster, do you see any sort of justification? If not, is it fair game to use Marco Stunt's name even without him there, or is he off limits because he's not?
Well, yeah, of course it's fair game. He's part of the history. I thought it was kind of lame too, just because they were mentioning Marco Stunt. Not but yeah, listen, they have every right to use it. He was a huge part of that group. I mean, you can't have those first years of Jurassic Express without Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. They're a team, So to say that they can't say it is just bullshit. I mean, it's like saying, oh, we could mention Owen Hart, but we can't mention any of his wrestling because it wasn't here. It just doesn't make any sense.
Not to mention, too, if you could talk about Luke Perry, like Jungle Boy's off. I mean, Marco Stunt's off limits. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's part of the promo. If anything, it's keeping Marco Stunt relevant. I mean, we saw his run. He had that match against, I forget who he wrestled at GCW, but he was recently there.
Yeah.
So he's still out there doing his thing. So keeping people, you're on national TV, your name's put out there. Maybe someone Googles Marco Stunt, like, hey, I forgot about him. What is he doing? Maybe it gets some eyes onto what you're doing elsewhere.
100%. I don't see any cons in it at all. Yeah, I don't see any cons. With your name being if someone said Nick Storm on TV, oh hell yeah, yes please, oh my god, keep my name alive, baby.
Yeah. No, couldn't
All right,
agree more.
Our next story here, we have Gato's original idea was for the Young Bucks to win the IWGP tag titles on the show, which is Forbidden Door, and make it AEW versus IWGP tag titles eventually down the line, which would be FTR versus the Young Bucks again for the third time. So it was changed, and the Young Bucks were on board with that change, with the idea that it's a cool story for FTR to have the IWGP, the Ring of Honor, and the AAA tag titles. While belts mean less because there are so many of them, there's now a natural push for the Young Bucks versus FTR with 4 sets of belts at stake being pushed as a unique match in wrestling history and could logically be billed the biggest tag team championship match in all of wrestling history. So I go back to you, Tom, again, FTR, since you were doing the sessions with him with FTR. Do you see this being the biggest tag team championship match in history if all 4 belts are on the line? FTR versus Young Bucks 3 with every belt on the line, winner take all. Does that have some reverence for you, or is it just like overkill at this point?
I'd love to see it. I don't know, that might be one of the biggest tag team match ever if that comes down to that. Like all 4 of those titles on the line, one guy gets all 4. There's never been that much gold put up in one match before for a singles match. So I think it's got to be huge.
Do you guys think it's a little bit, it makes the belts a little bit watered down if you're having all of them on the line? Like, how does AAA feel about this? They couldn't be more of a third fiddle at this point. They're just props on FTR's waist.
Yeah, no, you know what? They don't bring them out enough, first off, because they don't. It's not every time you see FTR, you see the AAA titles. It's once in a while. It's kind of like Mox with the GCW title.
Yeah,
you know, it's just because he doesn't have it with him. It kind of puts a little damper on it, but I don't think it makes the belts less meaningful. I like the fact that there's 4 different companies, and you know, FTR is the pinnacle of them right now, and it would be awesome to see them fight for all 4 titles. I think that would be one of the best matches that we've ever seen, and it would also be like a redemption for the first time we seen the Bucks versus FTR, because it was no fans and it was kind of lackluster. It didn't have the build that we were expecting. I think this is the build kind of more tiered toward fans. So I think it makes total sense. It would be awesome to fucking see it.
That's a really good point. And you bring up a really good point. It's crazy that we got that first match between the 2 of them after all that build of getting FTR over to AEW. It's in front of no fans. Of course, we got the second match, which was awesome.
Yeah.
But my other question, I don't want to unpack it too far, but how do you get all 4 belts separated? Like at some point, you just have the winner of the winner take all, just relinquish the titles and send them back to their promotions, or do you have matches and have them lose?
They go to FTR could go to AAA and fight for that belt there. All 4 don't have to be on the line there. You know? Yeah,
but I'm saying is if say the Young Bucks or FTR win all of them and the person has all 4 titles,
yeah.
Do you want the AEW Tag Team Champions losing to someone in AAA to lose your titles? It becomes very kind of messy a little bit.
If you book it that way, you're going to have to allow it to happen. So
true, yeah, I agree with you.
And also, if you're not, you know, showing it on AEW TV, does it really matter? You know what I mean? Like we could see AAA. Oh, they lost 1 belt. Like womp womp. Yep. You know, of course, we'll see them fight for the Ring of Honor and AEW titles in this little bubble. But after everything else, I mean, in New Japan. So I mean, AAA is the only one that's going to be the weird one for them to lose without an explanation, because we don't see any AAA storyline on AEW, but we see the other 3 prominent. So I don't think it's going to be a big deal.
I mean, we saw Kenny drop the Impact title. We saw Kenny drop the AAA titles. I'm sure you're about to bring that up, Nick, but that's you know, it's happened. So I just think it's a weird situation to put yourself in when you have all these belts on the line.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to bring that up. It also kind of reminds me of, I don't know what they're going to do with Roman when it comes to the 2 belts. How are they going to separate that as well? Are they going to relinquish one? Is he going to lose both?
That's a unified championship now.
Oh, well, I don't watch the product.
So they're not.
I mean, we'll see what, I mean, until they make it 1 belt.
So they're going to make it like, they're going to make it 1 belt? Yeah.
Like when Jericho had both titles.
Designed already.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I think it is a unified belt, but until they have 2 belts, I will never be certain that the decision is to have 1 belt, because you know how they are. They feel like both brands are going to be like, oh, we need to have another title.
They could combine it to 1 belt and change their mind in next week, so that doesn't even
100%
anything. So.
Rip up the paper before the show.
All right, well, that's a conversation for another time. Let's move on to the next story here. An interesting note for people that purchase Forbidden Door, and a lot of people talk about. The only reason I'm mentioning this, a lot of people think AEW fans automatically purchase events because it has the AEW banner on it. But this is weird, and follow the numbers a little bit. I know we probably have the Scott Steiner drop for this with the Scott Steiner math. 61.6% ordered Double or Nothing, and 38.4% did not order Double or Nothing that ordered Forbidden Door. Figured out another way, only 47.1% of the people who ordered Double or Nothing ordered this show, and 52.9% did not. So it tells you that not the same people are ordering every show, that the AEW overall pay-per-view audience is larger than most people think, and that All Elite Wrestling has to earn these buys. They're not just automatically given. So when they are doing these numbers, I think they haven't done their biggest number yet. And we're yet to see what the ceiling is for who's watching these pay-per-views. Maybe All Out breaks that number.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of weird, though, because the whole New Japan being involved, it's totally separate than any other AEW pay-per-view, because you're going to have people who don't care, and then people who never order pay-per-views that love New Japan are going to order it just to see that. So comparing those two pay-per-views is kind of skewed, in my opinion.
No, it's a fair point for sure. But I think the main point that people are making is that New Japan has no drawing power in the United States, which is, I guess, categorically false because it did well here. A lot of them didn't order Double or Nothing with just AEW on there. New Japan actually has some weight here with names like Okada and Tanahashi and all these guys here in the United States.
100%.
Speaking of Forbidden Door, AEW announced 16,529 people, which surpasses the June 1st show at the Kia Forum in Los Angeles for the second largest crowd in company history, which was behind the one that I was at, September's New York City debut at Arthur Ashe Stadium. The turnstile count, which is the one that should be used for total attendance, was 16,100 behind the 20,300 turnstile count for Arthur Ashe. So we're going to see if they can break that number. It's a big deal that what they did there in Chicago, especially with all the limited ticket sales that they had going on the day of when it dropped down to $4. I think people were concerned about what they were doing.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of scalpers eating it in the ass. For those
sure.
ticket prices. 100%.
It took,
I think,
it took so far away from where it was. It was such a hot ticket, then it just died. I don't think anyone's ever seen that happen.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with the card either. I think it was just the way ticket sales were. I think, especially in the Chicago area, a lot of people hop on those tickets really fast because they think it's going to be a super, super hot event. And then, you do that so many times. There's been so many shows here back to back to back that I think this kind of puts it in a little bubble, and it's not, All Out. It's not at the Now Arena. It's not at this tiny little arena. You're talking United Center. So I think a lot of people bought into it, and then they had to eat the sales. So that's why they were like $5 tickets. I don't think it has anything to do with the building of the show.
Oh, agreed. I absolutely agree with that. And I think it was much to do about nothing with the build and the card and all that. I think people that wanted to go were already making travel plans to go. People that were making it a destination were already going. Yeah. I think maybe people overestimated the scalpers, like you said, secondary market, that they were going to make a huge profit on this based on what happened at All Out and other Chicago shows, the CM Punk homecoming show. When you start to tap the market over and over again, people feel like, oh, I'll get them next time when they're coming to Chicago. I may as well just wait this time. Maybe I'll wait until they come back in September, like what they're doing for All Out.
Absolutely. I mean, everything's so close together.
Yeah. And bringing up Arthur Ashe, it kind of reminds me, like, if they build Arthur Ashe Grand Slam this year, if they build it well, definitely going to surpass last year. Because last year, when you think about it, still had like all the COVID restrictions, right? Sure. COVID was still very, very prevalent. People didn't want to go out. People didn't want to. They weren't really fond of the mask mandate and everything like that. Not sure if there was a mask mandate. Ace, you can touch on. I know you were there.
There was not there, but it still was hesitation. It was the first time for me personally that I've been in a large crowd, and I know for a lot of people it was the same in that area. But yeah, there was still some hesitation. So I think people will feel a lot more comfortable come this September than last.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's if they have a good build to it, because last year we had Danielson and Omega. Oh my goodness, like a match of two gods in one ring, and it was fantastic. And so it's like it's going to be kind of hard to. It's not impossible, but it's going to be very hard to kind of break that ceiling. And I think if they did, a massive amount of numbers for that. So.
Yeah, I mean, New York is usually a hard market to tap in. It's historically been a WWE town. WCW had a hard time with it. TNA, I don't think even attempted. Like, it is a hard market to tap, and the fact that they ran Arthur Ashe and it came in with rave reviews, not only financially but also the live audience was incredible. It was one of the more electric crowds I've ever been in front of. That wasn't a traveling crowd going out of state to go to a wrestling show. It was palpable. The energy in that building was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next year we have Santana suffered what appeared to be a very serious knee injury in blood and guts match. Nick and I mentioned this last week during the match. So if you caught it, he had entered the match and was given Daniel Garcia Uranagi when his left knee went out. He couldn't walk after that point, pretty much disappeared from the match. So Tony Khan did touch upon it. They were fearing it was a torn ACL, which would require major surgery, but they're saying it's a knee injury. All Tony had said in his normal weekly interview spot on the radio was that Santana will be missing significant time. We will support him in any way. So it sucks, man, especially because we've been talking about on here. We've been flying that banner that Proud and Powerful deserve a tag title run, and it will be a while until we get that.
Yeah, 100%. I feel that, dude, it's so sad seeing like replays of the blood and guts match. Everyone on top of the cage after they won, and Santana's not nowhere to be seen. It's really sad, you know, because he was in that match, and I think they should have put the tag titles on Santana and Ortiz end of last year. They should have. I don't know. Without the hot shotting I feel like it was a hot shot to put get Lucha Bros to lose the titles to Jurassic Express. I feel like Santana and Ortiz could have taken that spot and maybe done a lot more with it, in my opinion. But it is sad to see. But hopefully when he does come back, we get to see that title run, that tag title run from Proud and Powerful. I'd love to.
Well, despite what you believe on the internet, apparently Ortiz and Santana are not getting along too well anymore.
I did see that. I'm not sure if that was a story they were building maybe for a potential breakup, but on the back burner. Are you saying as a shoot they don't get along?
No, as a shoot. I heard some stuff that some ramblings saying that they were not seeing eye to eye anymore and all this stuff. But I mean, it was a wicked injury. It sucks. I agree with everything. I think Santana and Ortiz could have definitely been the tag champions and not have to throw it on Jurassic Express and blah blah. I mean, we could do that all day long, but it sucks. It's a shame that he busted his knee up and shit like that. Nick Storm's got a comb in his head.
I don't know why I picked this up and showed it to the camera, but that's just happened. But that I did hear talks on Twitter of saying Santana and Ortiz aren't on the greatest of terms. I don't know if
the amount of days he has left in his contract.
Okay,
something like
right.
that.
I saw somewhere someone said that Sean Ross Sapp reported that, and then Sean actually confirmed he didn't report that. So I'm not too sure. I'm taking that with a grain of salt, but if that is the case, it's sad to see. Kiss and makeup, please.
Yeah,
unless Uncle Dave says it, I don't believe it. Brian Alvarez and Uncle Dave are the only ones that have any weight here. Sean Ross Sapp can go suck it.
I'll say it.
All right.
Anything Uncle Dave says.
That's a conversation for another time. But we have our final news story before we get to the Rampage and the Fyter Fest card. But this is not really much a story, but or a news story. It's more of a funny incident. So Okada flew in for the Milwaukee show, and the first thing he did was ask Rocky Romero where the Young Bucks dressing room was, and then went in, stole Nick Jackson's ring gear and put it underneath his clothes. Then he went to Nick Jackson after not seeing him for 3.5 years, literally since the 2019 Tokyo Dome show, and asked Nick where his ring gear was. He couldn't find it. Then Okada took off his clothes, revealing Nick Jackson's ring gear. That was the funniest story I read all week. Okada putting on the Young Bucks gear. I need a picture of him wearing the tassels, the full everything. It's a hilarious story. It just shows the relationship they had, the bond they grew in Tokyo, that they don't see each other in person for 3.5 years. And that's the first thing you do. I love that story.
It's beautiful.
100%, yeah.
I'm here for all the fuckery. Oh,
yeah.
It's so funny watching Nick break down the story and how it happened. Okada just jet lagged as all hell, came from Japan, and immediately does a rib. It's the funniest thing. So
it's awesome.
You gotta love it, man.
All right. So before we move into everything else, and I will pass it on to the OG Fig Kid. We have our card for Rampage coming up. 4 matches announced: Eddie Kingston versus Takeshita, Serena Deeb versus Mercedes Martinez in action, Jonathan Gresham and Lee Moriarty versus Gates of Agony, Orange Cassidy versus Tony Nese. So some happenings on Rampage. I know you guys were starting to watch it because it was airing on Fight, so no spoilers. But just to mention about Takeshita, apparently at PWG he had an amazing match with Daniel Garcia that people are raving about.
Sorry. Just got it up. Sorry about that.
Oh, hell yeah. Look at that. Hot
Beautiful.
off the presses. So next week is AEW Fyter Fest. So this would be, I think, the 4th Fyter Fest or 3rd. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And we get to use our first drop of the day, which is Claudio Castagnoli versus Jake Hager. We have the AEW World Tag Team Championships, the Young Bucks versus Swerve in Our Glory versus Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs. So Claudio versus Jake Hager. History there. We're getting Cesaro versus Jack Swagger, the former tag team partners in WWE. I love it. I love that they're actually.
Dutch Mantel's going to come out in this match. No, it's going to be like Regal at Revolution. They're slapping each other. They're getting to fisticuffs, and then
Can we talk Claudio, please?
Claudio, excuse me, pardon me.
Exactly, and then we talk Zeb Coulter. He comes down, runs down to the ring, tears both of his quads in the process. I'm thinking of someone else, but this is so funny. I love that they're actually feeding into this. I was wondering once Claudio actually came into AEW if they were going to acknowledge it. They acknowledged it straight away in the Blood and Guts match. It was great, and so the fact they're having a match, this is going to be fantastic. Love everything Claudio's been doing lately. So let's give it a whirl.
I'm excited for it, man. Let's give it a swirl. Let's give it a Cesaro swing.
And then the last thing here, Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor, which will be on July 23rd in Massachusetts, a little bit further from Boston. So in the suburban area, if you're traveling there, it's not near Boston. It's probably about 45 to an hour away. We have 3 matches announced. We have the TV Championship, Samoa Joe versus Jay Lethal, the Pure Championship, Wheeler Yuta versus Daniel Garcia, and we have just hot off the presses, the Two Bad Chads have been saying it. Sign the Briscoes. This is not quite signing them, but we're getting a return match, FTR versus Briscoes 2, which might have been match of the year at Supercard of Honor. I'm pumped for it. I think you needed a match with that level of weight to bring some reverence to the card because it was lacking, in my opinion. There's rumors that it's going to be Gresham versus Lee Moriarty for the championship. I'm not sure if that really sells people on a main event, especially if you're selling it for $40. But, we'll be back on Honor Society breaking down this full card as a preview, so stay tuned for that. And that's all I got for the news.
Yeah, they made me want to buy this Ring of Honor pay-per-view now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No,
just for that one match. I would buy it for just that one match.
I was out until they announced that.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm good with Samoa Joe and Jay Lethal. I think that's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be a great. Don't get me wrong, wrestling wise, great show. But I think Ring of Honor has fallen so far to the back burner because there's so many other things going on. Obviously, Forbidden Door was going on. Now they're worrying about the interim world title. That Ring of Honor has become third or fourth fiddle at this point. We need to bring it back up to the forefront to get people interested. In just a few weeks, the pay-per-view is happening. What date is it? It's July 6th.
Yeah,
July 23rd is not too far away.
No.
Yeah, I heard Tony Khan's really trying to push for a weekly show as well, and he said it takes 2 to tango, so he's really on board with it. He really wants it to go on, but I think there's talks it might have fizzled out. But he's still persisting and trying to get that weekly show. I just know it takes 2 to tango, and it's very one-sided at the moment. So hopefully that kind of clears itself up sooner than later.
Yeah. I'm loving what the graphics look like. The new logo looks really crisp. I love everything that's going on with that. But yeah, I mean, maybe they should pop them on YouTube. Take away Darker Elevation in the time being. You need to have these Ring of Honor storylines progressing until you get a TV deal. And how long can you put them on the back burner? I know Joe's hurt. Gresham was still recovering from the concussion. This is the first time we've seen Gresham since the Rampage that was live all these months ago back in May. So it's been a while since we've seen these guys in action, but you got to keep going a little bit because you don't want them to fall too far out of people's minds.
I think having it on YouTube is the perfect thing to do just to get it started, because maybe people don't know where to find it, Ring of Honor in general, and YouTube is a very universal place. You can find a whole lot of shit on there, and so I think YouTube just to start it out, and then until you get a TV deal and actually can put it on weekly and stuff like that and have more eyes on it, then do that. But YouTube, man, I think that's the perfect place to go, and it'd just be easy because I was stressing on enough trying to find Ring of Honor in its last final legs. So to have it on YouTube, I think would be really good. But then you have all the people saying, "Oh, YouTube wrestling."
Yeah, exactly. There's the stigma to that. I think he wanted to be bigger than that, but at this point, we need to progress storylines. We need to make sure the Ring of Honor brand is in people's front of their brains. And at this point, it's only a matter of just changing the aprons and the turnbuckle pads, because you're still running 2 of the promotional shows, which is AEW Dark and AEW Dark Elevation. Just get rid of one of them for now and have the Ring of Honor product be there for an hour a week, so you have some presence of Ring of Honor. The logo needs to be out there and get people talking about it.
Yeah, I'd even be here for like a bi-weekly thing. Like 1 week we get Dark Elevation, 1 week we get Ring of Honor. Just balance each other. It's not going to kill your product.
And then we get a super card show, AW Dark versus Ring of Honor, bigger than Forbidden Door. No.
Yeah.
And it's Minnie Ziegler versus Jonathan Gresham for more TV time.
I'm pumped to see Gresham in action on Rampage. I can't wait to see him. If you guys already
TV
saw him,
time
don't
on
tell
a
me
pole
what happened.
match. TV time on a pole match. No, the Rampage, the feed cut off, unfortunately. But I watched the first bit of Eddie versus Takeshita, which is great. So
I'm sure it was beautiful.
oh
Yeah, man.
crisp.
Awesome stuff. I think it's time we move on to our top 3. You gentlemen ready?
Let's do it.
It's showtime, folks.
Switching it
Before
up a
we
little
get
bit.
started, let's welcome all the users watching us on Pro Wrestling Central's Twitter account, guys. Unfortunately, you can't comment from there that we'll see it, but if you jump on over to our YouTube channel, any of our streaming services, you could comment and we'll actually talk back with you. In the chat tonight, look, Tony F is calling out Nick Storm, saying, hell yeah. We got
Hell
the
yeah.
Yeah.
good evening. in the
And
chat.
you were mentioning, Tom, that you can see us on all our streaming platforms. Where can we see that? Where is that?
Oh, go to theturnbuckletavern.com and you get all of our links there.
That was not rehearsed, guys. Boom.
We work. I'll take the banner off so I can get you. Okay, there we go. We got Mo the Fit God. Hey, the sup, Mike Belcaster, the OG Fit Kid, ACEFIELD, the Retro, Nick Storm, the Australian Icon. What's up, guys? Express should split. See how they do singular. Well, I think we're seeing that, which I'm all here for. Speaking of injuries, Adam Cole resurfaced on Twitch for the first time since what happened at Forbidden Door. Wow, it's hard to read after Styling Racing.
Style and grace.
Would love to see the Ring of Honor on YouTube. Dark and Elevation seems to be for the records rather than the matches. Ring of Honor matches would bring in a crowd looking at new faces. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Good point, Nick the Comic Nerd. Thanks for watching, my man.
Yeah, thank you guys for the support. Keep commenting. We appreciate it. Like, follow, subscribe everywhere you possibly can. TheTurnbuckleTavern.com.
I would definitely fuck with Fight TV as well.
Hell yeah, that'd be awesome.
There's a good point. Well, let's get into it. Gentlemen, top 3. Let's start with your number 3s. I'm looking at Nick Storm because he's wearing that beautiful Led Zeppelin shirt and I'm feeling it.
Hey, Mike, I said the way you move. No, I'm sorry. But I'm going to say my number 3. These I think all my stuff is from tonight's Dynamite. So my number 3, it's got to be they're actually putting effort into the Arse Boys and Acclaim story, and I kind of really like that. They're doing stuff with it, which is great. They're actually it's not just a storyline on Dark. It's actually weekly on Dynamite and not even on a Rampage. It's good to see. And yeah, very, very into that. I like what they got going on. You know, you had the whole Billy Gunn. You know, they thought they were on the Acclaimed side. He even had like hot bright pink shoes on, and I was like, oh, he's gonna take in Max Caster and Anthony Bowens as his new sons. But no, turns on them or doesn't turn them on. No, that's a completely different show. That's After Dark. Don't worry, that's After Hours. But yeah, and I think this is gonna be a pretty cool storyline to see. Gun Club, great in ring. Great overall. I hate them and I love to hate them. So this is a fun time.
Listen! Yo!
Exactly. And then Austin Gunn taking the mic from Max Caster before he could even do a rap. Dude, I was like, wait, did we not just get a rap at all? And I was sad by that. And I was angered and I could only see red. My blood was boiling. So love that. So that's my number 3.
Ultimate heel move. Take the microphone.
Yeah, move. And you know what? It's about time the Acclaim go face because they're so over with the crowd anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, Tom, I think you said it a while ago. Like their reaction when they come out is very similar to the You Didn't Know with the New Age Outlaws back in the day. And it's kind of funny that they've teamed them with Billy Gunn and he's working with them. And their grip on the crowd and Max's raps, they get better every week, and they're both very
screw
very
the
decent.
FTR pop, screw the Road Warrior pop. It's the pop.
I don't know if just for reference, some guy was arguing with me on Instagram that Acclaim gets a bigger pop than FTR, which is just, in my opinion, your ears don't work. But their pop is legit, but no one touches the FTR pop. And I think it was also very obvious this week with the Young Bucks talking about their match with Swerve in Your Glory and also Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks, and everyone was chanting for FTR. And think about that all these ways back 3 years ago.
No one's chanting for the Acclaim.
A different team over the Young Bucks. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
The Acclaimed. No, but yeah.
They should have been.
The only thing I'm a little sad about, we're not going to get to hear Scissor Me Daddy Ass anymore. Like my
Oh
favorite
yeah,
line.
it had a good run. It had a good
Yeah.
run.
It had a really good run, but it's good to see that the Acclaim on their own is what I'm looking forward to. That's my bright future out here because they were a very talented tag team, and it's going to be beautiful to see them rise to the top the only way the Acclaim can.
I did love the crowd work that Anthony Bowens would do, where the Gun Club would get the name of the city wrong, and then Anthony Bowens, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was fantastic. That was good. So
Dude, and even 2 weeks ago, he was chanting and getting the crowds to chant the Ass Boys with him, and now all of a sudden he wasn't allowed to, and they don't even bring that up. That was like the weirdest little thing in there.
It's a sad day for Acclaimed and Ass Boys
look at that.
fandom.
It's a real grown man tier right there.
Listen,
Yo.
what's happening?
It was a happy accident that they put them together. It seemed like it was a mismatch thing on a random week, but it really worked. And I think it helped get the Gun Club in people's minds to be a more legitimate tag team. And I know the Chads have been saying it all the way back since April. The Gun Club is legit. They've really grown on me. I love their in-ring work. They're very, very good. And you got to remember how young they are. The sky's the limit for them, and just shows how good the AEW tag division is. So I'm looking forward to see what else they're going to be doing going forward. I'm happy they're heels too. They have to stay heels right now.
Yeah, you can't turn the Ass Boys faces. That
And they're rocking the Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 8 tights when he wrestled Tito Santana. That's what the exact same tights. It's amazing.
It's
pops me every
time. Ace, my brother, give me your number 3.
All right, so my number 3 is from Rampage, and it was Brody King winning the Royal Rampage, and the whole thing was great.
Yeah,
I'll go with the fact that he eliminated Hangman Page, which was a really surprising moment and left me sort of shocked because I thought Hangman would be getting the win here. We're going to get Hangman versus Moxley. The choke ending was awesome, how he eliminated Darby, and there's been battle royals since the beginning of time, or maybe not. But I've never seen that ending. I've been watching wrestling for a very long time. I have not seen that ending ever. It was really cool. Darby sells it like $1 million. He looked like he was dead. 2 ring battle royals rule. Bring back World War III. I want to see one more ring. So
yeah.
you know how Tony's a WCW mark. Mike and I are becoming WCW marks. Man, what an awesome battle royal. Brody King looked a legitimate monster. I'll get into him a little bit more when we get to another match that he had this week because that happens to be on my list. But I love everything about Brody Lee Brody Lee. I do love everything about you. I love everything about Brody King. So amazing.
Yeah.
We're in Rochester tonight as well, so
beautiful.
shout out to Brody Lee up there, Mr. Brody Lee.
And while we're just talking about an honorable mention, was Dark Order coming out and saying we're not fucking going anywhere.
Yeah,
and, I thought that was great because a lot of doubt this week for Evil Uno and the rest of the crew, and not enough to put it on my list, but it was a beautiful moment to see, especially in Rochester. I fucking loved it. So awesome shit, man. Tom, what's your number 3, brother?
my number 3 is a little different than everybody else's because I didn't think anybody would bring this up, and I wanted to bring it up. I love the whole Smart Mark Sterling and Danhausen. Like, it was so much fun.
Hearsay.
Yeah, I mean, that was great. It was, and you know what? The comedy timing there between all of them was perfect. It was like watching.
Yes, he's on every television in every single home.
It was so good. So I'm pumped to see that match now. So fun little build to a match on Rampage.
Hell yeah.
I'm here for it. My number 3 was gonna be a mix of 2 things, but Ace kindly just reminded me that the Royal Rampage happened. Look at my lawyer, dog.
I'm going to jail. I'm sorry, I had to bring that up.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. But yeah, Royal Rampage just in a full fucking package. Mad World War III vibes. Just it really felt nostalgia up the ass for me because this was one of my favorite pay-per-views growing up, and I felt that 2 rings was better than 3 because you didn't have 3 individual screens on your thing when they did the cutaway. You had good side by side, and I thought it was done.
Side by side clip was amazing.
I thought it was done
great.
very well. Yeah, and then Brody King fucking that spot with him and Darby, with him choking out Darby on the apron. It was beautiful looking, and man, I love the whole thing. I love the whole Rampage for having 2 rings. The Bucks utilized it a little bit. It was fucking awesome, and it just really brought me back home to World War III. I was like, oh my goodness, way to capitalize on having the 2 ring set up for Blood and Guts on a whole Rampage. I thought it was beautifully done.
Yeah, they turned an inconvenience to something that was a benefit to the show. The battle royal felt so much bigger because of the 2 rings, and because they made the choice to Brody King be a monster in this one.
Yeah.
But the 2 rings added to the appeal to me, and I loved it.
Yeah, I loved when Brody grabbed Darby and just threw him from the back ring into the front ring, and like
So good.
it looks so goddamn great on TV. I loved it, man. Super awesome.
I love that.
Do you guys think they should bring back the double rings more than once a year, or do you think they should just strictly have that for blood and guts, and then you can kind of exchange it here and there?
I like it once a year, make it feel really special. Like, you know how the Royal Rumble feels special because it's only once a year you get that type of match. You don't know who's going to show up. Once a year.
Rampage Rumble.
Yeah. Well, now we got the Royal Rampage. So let's see. I would like to see it once a year. I would love it. And you know what? I wouldn't mind if it went up to like 30 guys total.
I would love for it to be on a pay-per-view. Put them both on a pay-per-view. Open the show with the Battle Royal, fucking close it with blood and guts, or vice versa. I think it would be. I think it was too big for a Rampage. I think you could milk a good hour match out of that.
So this brings me to like a thought. Like, we had Double or Nothing in May, and then in June we had Forbidden Door. That's the first time AEW did a back-to-back pay-per-view. If they were to do that more, if they made maybe the TV specials a pay-per-view and actually really build it up like that, monthly, bi-monthly, something like that, is that something that you guys are interested in? Let me know your takes.
Yeah. Listen, I'm here for it. I wouldn't mind more shows. They got enough fucking talent
for like
to do
Blood
it.
and Guts, for example, like if that was its own standalone pay-per-view, three and a half hours.
Blood and Guts probably needs a pay-per-view. I think that would be great.
Yeah, or making a special 3-hour show and just start at 8 o'clock, end at 11. I'm not sure if you can work that out with TBS and figure that out.
Yeah.
But it needs 3 hours. You're right, because they did a good job of pacing this week, or last week, I should say, for Blood and Guts. But usually it feels like the rest of the show is preamble and it's all focused on one match. And you want to make sure you don't have that going on, because there's other important things you need on a weekly show. They only have 3 hours a week to really elevate their talent. So when you dedicate half the show to one match, it could be detrimental. They did, like I said, this last week, as I said, during the wrap-up show, that they did a really good job of focusing that first hour, making it very eclectic and making it a variety of getting other guys over. It felt like a better show than the last time they did Blood and Guts.
Yeah,
Orange
no,
Cassidy,
100%.
Ethan Page was great freaking match, dude. Like, FTR Danhausen, how could I complain about that? You know, yeah, exactly. I think they should have like maybe a street fight or a death match or something as well on a Blood and Guts if it did become 3 hours. I've got to brush my hair again, man. But I got no knots. But got no Rick knocks, damn it. But yeah, I think if they made it like 3 hours, have like a completely go all out with the Blood and Guts theme. You know what I mean? Kind of.
Why not?
Make the most of it. Yeah, make the whole Blood and Guts doesn't have to mean the twos that you having like two steel cage Blood and Guts matches. You could even have like a death match or something like that, or you know, instead of on just a random Dynamite. You know.
Yeah.
I'll just say though, anything that has to do with WCW nostalgia, and you liked it as a kid, Tony Khan's going to bring it back. So it wouldn't shock me if World War III comes back. He's a WCW kid, so if you liked it and you were a WCW fan, he's around our ages. I guarantee we're going to see something of the like. War Games made a return, Blood and Guts. World War III has a nostalgia factor for WCW fans that grew up with it. Wouldn't shock me if they do something like it.
Finger poke of Doom.
I'll tell you
Before
what
his time.
Blood and Guts most, and you talked about why it should go to a pay-per-view, and for this reason only, it should. Not the only reason, but the picture-in-picture really hurts Blood and Guts more than anything all year long on AEW. I watched it on Fight. I did I say that? Yes, I'm in Australia next time. I watch it on Fight. I get to see it without the picture-in-picture, but it's so much more. You get to appreciate everything, not go into that little screen, and it's just terrible when they.
Last year's Blood and Guts, I was like, they really have ads and commercials, and that makes no fucking sense. And it's the same. I'm surprised they did not change it around, or at least have something pay off the ads for the entire hour, because they've done that. I believe they've done that. They did like an ad-free, completely like 1 hour ad-free show at one point. Might have been a Rampage, might have been a Dynamite. I'm not too sure, but Magic had a dream last night that I was eating gummy mushrooms and playing Resident Evil with Nick Storm. I don't know what any of this means. Magic, I think that means it's just gotta happen now in real life. Yeah, I'll be patiently awaiting your arrival to Australia, and I'll pick you up, my man. We can have some gummy mushrooms and play Resident Evil. I'd love to.
That sounds like an amazing night. Like, what the hell?
It does.
Where's our invite? God damn it!
Hell yeah, man.
Wait for Magic to make a Blood and Guts ring set.
That'd be cool.
That'd be great. Because like maybe you do need more than one ring for that. I could completely well off, pal. Maybe you do need one more ring for that, you know. So if you already have the standalone one that came with Kenny, the first one that they released, the AW ring,
Yeah.
you got to get the double or nothing ring with Aubrey Edwards, and then if they release the steel cage as just its own thing, that could work well as well.
That would work really well.
nuts!
Great way for them to have to go and sell and make me buy another ring.
I'll buy as many rings as they put out. Damn it.
God damn it.
God damn it.
First two.
Yeah. What are we at? Number 2, Nick Storm. Number 2, brother.
Number 2. Well, my number 2, Mike, you kind of touched on it a little bit, and it is Dark Order are here to stay. Love this bit. This segment was great. -1. It was just it wasn't serious. It wasn't so serious. QT Marshall came out and was cutting a promo on a 10-year-old. Like, it wasn't so serious. It was great. It was just a good hearty chuckle. And I can't remember who brought it up. It might have been Austin in the chat, but the camera cut to Hangman just looking at -1, all happy and just, I don't know, man. It got me in my feels. Love this segment to bits. It's good that Dark Order is here to stay and they're not one by one picking them off. It's sad to see the whole expiry thing with a couple of contracts, but Dark Order's here to stay, and I'm glad they announced this. They had this big, nice moment in Rochester with -1 Brody Lee Jr. So this was a fun time, man. This is a good time. A lot of wholesome moments, and that's my number 2.
Yeah, no, 100%. I got a question for you. There's 6 members left of Dark Order, and we know that Bray Wyatt's kind of teasing this Wyatt 6 gimmick now. Do you think
when
it's
they
got
said
anything...
6, I thought that's what they were going to do tonight.
It felt like it, right?
Still don't know what -1 was going to say. They said he had an announcement or something.
No, yeah.
New figure at ringside.
Hey,
Yeah. let's get rid of.
Turnbuckle Tavern save 10%.
That's what he was going to say. That's what he was going to say all along.
He's a big fan. But yeah, it made me start thinking. There's only 6 of them left. And not to shit on the guys that left, but I mean, these are the prominent dudes.
Yeah, these
You
are
got Evil Uno, who's the guy on the mic, the absolute guy on the mic. You got Silver and Reynolds, who's the tag team. I mean, there was lots of tag teams going on during Dark Order's heyday, but Silver and Reynolds were the ones that really got over. And then you got 10, who's this big, beefy monster that we haven't even seen unleashed yet. All with -1. I'm excited to see where they're going with this.
I miss the Evil Uno Stu Grayson matchup. I love how they worked in a ring, man. But yeah, like you said, these are the staples of the tavern.
I heard
Did you say staple? I love Portillo.
Shut up, you. Dark Order numbers. The only number not used, if you want to lead into the Bray Wyatt thing a little more, was number 6.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So listen, it could all just be a coincidence, and it probably is. But it sounds
Or
awesome.
Alex Jones in it and making conspiracies.
It's black helicopters. Bray Wyatt is a number 6. God damn it! I'm eating magic mushrooms.
Whether or not they're actually doing anything of the like with Bray Wyatt aside, the fact that they bring it up on TV just shows the difference between AEW and WWE and their approach. They know the rumors are swirling. They know people are doubting whether they're going to be on TV anymore, and they just face it forward and address it. And that's what's beautiful about it. And it just was apropos. They were in Rochester, which is Brody Lee's hometown. Everything aligned for them to have this special moment. I think this will age really well. And I said it last week on the show, even if Dark Order disappears as active in-ring work, the legacy will always be there. The banner will hang there. Maybe guys that are working under the banner, similar to what Bullet Club became in the later years, where you just have guys with the Dark Order things on their tights. It's not really much involved in storylines, but it becomes like, I don't know, just to put someone in that group and carry on the banner, sort of like those Game of Thrones shields of the flag, something like that, because it's too big to go away, especially with Brody being attached to it. So you got to keep it around.
Yeah.
Sigil's the word, by the way. Sigil. Game of Thrones sigil.
Sigil. Good stuff, though. Yeah. I'm here for it. Ace.
All right. So my number 2 is, again, from Rampage. Surprisingly, the Young Bucks defeated Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi. This was a very good match. I thought it was a nice little end cap of Forbidden Door. Nice, as the Japanese talent were heading on their planes and getting out of there. This was a nice end cap to it. I thought this was a really good showing for both Goto and Yoshihashi. The Young Bucks went in there and put on a great match. I mean, great match. And it highlights what the Young Bucks can do as a tag team. Feels like we haven't seen them do their best stuff in quite some time because they've been on the back burner. Maybe it's because FTR is on this historic run, or maybe because Kenny Omega is gone and the Young Bucks feel like they're just in the background. It's funny because they are the tag team champions and they feel more secondary than ever. But I thought this was a really good match and it put them on a really good spot on the card. So I love this match.
I thought it was fun as fuck. I love Nick. I think it was Nick Jackson who utilized the other ring when he was doing the step jump.
So cool, yeah.
It just signed me up for more of that shit. I thought it was fucking great. Tom,
Yeah. Oh, so my number 2 is
your number 2.
The Christian Matt Hardy confrontation with Kanosaurus. Love that. First of all, Christian is really taking in the shoes of MJF here with the promos he's been cutting.
Wait, you can't call him Kanosaurus because he wears a mask.
I got the hairbrush again.
But yeah, no, I thought I dug it, man. I thought it was fun. I'm here for heel Luchasaurus.
Absolutely.
Gives him more value, more depth. Like he was just this big goof coming out with Jungle Boy for the longest time.
We talked about it on sessions, I think, saying, what are they going to do at Luchasaurus? We kind of felt like there was nothing left for him. And then they do this, and it's like, oh my God, he has more interest than ever. So,
like, of course, you know what I mean?
Christian telling Matt that he's going to make Jeff look sober and shit. Man, he got the heat for that one.
It was good. It was good. Good timing. Good
other
phrasing.
Thing I really liked was Matt seemed to be like he was at the end of his WWE run. Just came out as Matt Hardy, and that's when he got most over in that last WWE run, is when he went to that. Like, for some reason the fans dig that, so I thought it was really cool to see that version, but it seemed like he was Randy Orton on the outside of the ring by Luchasaurus. So I don't know if he's being punted back to the WWE, or did you all catch the similarity with that tonight?
Yeah, for sure. That was definitely on my mind as well, and the fact he was wearing the pants from 1999 too. I don't know if you guys caught that.
Yeah,
that might have been the exact pants he wore at No Mercy 1999 in the first ever tag team ladder match. But my honorable mention was the Christian promo as well. I mean, he's on fire every week, and I doubted Christian's place on this card since he's been signed here, and he's proving me wrong. I think he's been excellent, and you guys said it. He picked up the baton that MJF dropped for right now. You need a dastardly heel on the card that makes people gasp and say, "I cannot believe he just said that." And Christian on a weekly basis, 3 weeks in a row now. He's dropping lines and he's topping himself every week. And Luchasaurus as a heel, I mean, as a heater, so good. I can't wait to see where they go with this. It's awesome.
Yeah, this was actually my 2.5, I forgot to mention, but I didn't know what to do for the Dark Order or Christian. I was like, fuck it, both. So 2.5 is this Christian thing. He's become one of my favorite heels in wrestling right now. I think he is the top heel in wrestling right now when you have MJF gone weekly and not on screen. I think Christian is doing absolute bits. He's doing madness in it, bruv. So that's my British impression.
You carny piece of shit?
So that's the only Christian drop we had. So,
okay. Well, I was gonna say I don't bring my British accent out for a lot of people, but Christian, you get it all day, love.
I love it. My number 2 is Penta Oscuro versus Rouge. I thought it was I thought it was a great match. Fun back and forth. Good introduction. This is Rouge's first match in AEW, correct?
Yes.
So it was. I felt like it was a. Well, that doesn't count. It's a battle royal. First singles debut. Okay, yeah. But I thought it was a good introduction to him in a single styles match. Not a better opponent you can put anybody with besides Penta. The guy's fucking great. So I thought it was awesome. And it was just a really fun fucking match, man.
Yeah, great match.
Yeah, just stop stealing Penta's mask. All I say.
Just everybody stop stealing.
It's becoming a weekly thing almost. Every match he's in, he's getting his mask stolen by the dastardly heel. It's losing its meaning a little bit, but this was a great showing, man. I'm not really familiar with Rouge, and oh, what a Rouge!
Oh, what a Rouge!
Former ROH World Champion. The guy is legit. Every bit as they come from Ring of Honor, the newer era. I know a lot of people tuned out of it when they started with the Sinclair stuff, but Rouge and Bandito had some great matches at the end of that Ring of Honor run before Tony took over.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's like I said, it was a good introduction match for him in a singles environment. I thought it was awesome. Good shit. Good shit. Well, that makes the time.
It's time for the main event.
And goddamn, boys, what a main event it's going to be. Nick Storm throwing it out to you. Yes, sir.
Well, here we frickin' go, ladies and gents. Okay? Because I'm going to have to go with... Oh, he's in the ring. But Wardlow winning the TNT title. I did figure photography with him. I should have been prepared. Silly me. Wardlow winning the TNT title. Yeah. Oh, stop it, you. I'm going to give you... I'm legitimately going to give you a kiss on the cheek. And you're going to like it. But this is great. This needed to happen a long time ago, and I'm glad it's happening now. Wardlow, take it out of that whole kind of messy TNT title picture that we've known for the past 6 months. Can't believe it, 7 months. Get it out of that conglomerate of mess and give it to someone who's deserved it. And I think Wardlow, man, he's really proved his worth. And I've been along on the Wardlow train for a while now. And I'm glad to see he's getting the love that he deserves from the Booker man. And I did my British accent. I don't do it for a lot of people, man. It just comes out naturally. He gets all the love now, innit?
Well, yeah, it's
mental. It's bloody mental. No, yeah, love this to this. This is great.
Hell yeah.
So for Wardlow, I think that the difference between what was going on a week ago with him and now, it's going to be a huge jump for where he's going in the company. I know the writing's been on the wall. He's, skyrocketed for stardom. We know he's going to be one of the face of the companies, but what happened, and I will still say this, what happened with MJF was a detriment to what he was doing and his momentum, no matter how you slice it. He went straight into the security guard stuff with Smart Mark Sterling, and then was sort of floating in this like weird, obscure ether of not doing anything yet. I think the TNT title will give him direction, and it helps both parties. The TNT title needs to be saved. Wardlow needs a direction. I think this is going to be great. I would love to see him defend it on TV weekly and make it more of a television championship, especially with the All-Atlantic Championship being more of the mid-card title. So I think we need to really reshape how we view this TNT title and make it feel a little bit more special, like it did back when Brody held it, back when Miro held it, back when Darby held it. It is a step in the right direction, in my opinion. Were we doing match of the week and number one, or is that yeah?
I have a match of the week.
Me too. So I don't want to say what my match of the week is.
It's been like 3 weeks for me, goddammit. Give me a goddamn break here, motherfucker.
Hold on.
Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go.
All right, so I'm going to reiterate everything that Nick Storm said. Wardlow defeating Scorpio Sky felt like a coronation for my number one. It seemed like a foregone conclusion, but you never know. Like, you never know if they were going to extend this program. The fact that Scorpio was hurt was the reason it was a street fight. He was battling some injuries. Who else is, who's not battling injuries on AEW at this point? But Scorpio did a really good job of working and selling. They made Wardlow look strong. That's what you're asking for. He pinned him with 1 foot, power bombed him. So now it's off to the races to make Wardlow feel like he should be an eventual world champion. I'm not sure when that is. Maybe it's 2023. Maybe it's later on. But right now, let's just focus on building the TNT title back and making Wardlow feel like an attraction. And I think it's going to be happening. I'm very excited to see what's coming on in the next couple of months. So first step is getting a big feud for him. I'm not sure who it is, but I think it could be, that would be a nice thing, be a good program to go with as a dance partner.
Yeah.
I dig it. Same thing. Wardlow winning the TNT title. Perfect way to rebuild a belt and build a wrestler. Like, it's perfect. Ooh, there you go.
Look at that photo, man. Look at that.
Take the photo, as Dak says. Take the photos.
Right? more gold in that picture than there is in Flavor Flav's mouth.
Perfect way to rebuild that belt. Get the respect it deserves. Putting it on a guy who's coming up. He's a star. It's like the old Intercontinental title. It's perfect. I think he's going to do wonders for that belt. I can't wait to see, like you said, hopefully he gets involved in a story soon with somebody.
Yeah, no, listen, that's my number one too. It's awesome. It was sad to see the confetti beat Wardlow for the title right after he won. He was buried in that shit. But no, it was awesome. It was a great feel good moment. Wardlow needed that push. He needed that presence. I would love to see him go in a title match with Miro, or a program with Miro. It would be awesome. You could throw anybody up against them, and it'll probably be pretty good. Yeah. So I'm excited to see what Hobbs would be fantastic. Especially with Look, Ricky Starks versus Wardlow would be awesome with Hobbs and Wardlow's coat. You could go a million different directions with it, but it's going to be awesome. And at least the title has a place to be right now, and it's not bouncing back and forth between Sammy Tay.
And it's not on someone that's injured, as we know.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
let's give a shout out to the sweeper of the person that got rid of all the confetti. It must have been the same sweeper from Game Changer Wrestling getting rid of all the glass in between all these death matches. The confetti was like from commercial break to when they came back, there was not one stitch of gold confetti. So whoever that person is deserves a goddamn raise. Give that person their flowers.
Yeah. Well, what you didn't see, Kenny Omega came back.
Yeah, there you go.
He cleaned up the place. It's like, I'm out for another few months.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's actually what he's been doing in his off time. That's his day job for now while he can't wrestle. But no, when people say bury me in gold, I don't think they meant confetti. So Wardlow, bless up to you, man. This is awesome.
Bless up, Wardlow.
It was fantastic, man. Do we play something for the match of the week?
How about this?
We do redeem these nuts. We got
Redeem these nuts.
I probably would have saved it Showtime for match of the week, and then I would have made it all different. But we're good.
I would have done all of them. Redeem these nuts.
All of them. Just redeem these nuts, man. Nick Storm, as always, you take the lead. You handsome gentleman.
Man, match of the week, match of the night for me. Match of the week: Jon Moxley versus Brody King. Love this shit to bits, man. This is the type of stuff I love. I'm still sort of new to Brody King. I've seen a lot of matchups that he's been in, but man, he is a main event talent, and I think this might have solidified for him because it looks like he gave Moxley a run for his money. I was like, oh shit, he did like move after move. He did the whole choke out thing that he did with Darby last week on Rampage, but it was from the top rope and Moxley was hanging, like actually his feet was dangling. It was beautiful. There was hard-hitting shit. This is the type of stuff I love to see. Super stiff work, and I think these guys crushed it tonight. And I'm big on Brody King now. Need him as a figure. Magic, if you're still watching, get me that buff, meaty, tattooed man in my hands. Thank you for the love of...
It was announced at FanFest.
Yeah, but I want it in my hands now.
I want it in my hands too. I imagine
I want
the tattoo
it in
work.
my
It's just gonna be. It's gonna be a solo series release. It's just gonna be all Brody Kings in different colors because it takes so much to pay for them.
Oh, man.
I'm here
and then also sell freaking House of Black masks merch, people. Thank you. Mike. I'm trying to say your vision out and see it and tell
Echo
people.
it into the. We need House of Black masks. We need Sting masks. AEW shop just started selling the Sting gloves.
Not
the fucking mask.
Socks. They sell socks now with half naked men on it on Shop AEW. It's great.
I sell those socks on my Amazon page too.
Let me just say, you don't want to see my socks. How about that?
Yeah. I love it. I believe Ace hit me with your best shot, man.
All right, so Brody King versus Moxley is obviously, and we can talk about the match all day. I will mention the fact that Brody had Moxley on the ropes, and you could make an argument if this was in kayfabe, the ref might or should have stopped the match because of the choke, because Moxley was unresponsive. So Brody has, for the casual fan watching or someone who believes it's legitimate, has a claim that he had the world champion beat. And this is how you establish a big man. Throughout the history of wrestling, a lot of the best promotions have big man opponents like Bam Bam Bigelow, like Vader back in WCW. They need those heavies to wrestle and make other guys look good. You need to have a formidable force. Not every wrestler can be these technicians that are going against each other with these 60-minute classics. Sometimes you need this monster of a heel, and Brody King made me believe AEW needs him in that role and just replace whoever is the heavy. I mean, we talk about Luchasaurus being the person replacing Lance Archer, but I think Brody King could be a future world champion. I know that his run through Ring of Honor was amazing when he was in Dillon Enterprises with Marty Scurll. And also, he's still PWG Tag Team Championship champions with Malachi Black. Brody King is so impressive, and I don't think we've seen the best of him, which is really scary because for a big guy, he's so agile. I think they were marking him at 6'7", 300 and something pounds, hitting that cannonball in the corner, the things he's able to do, and just how emotive he is in the ring too. His facial expressions are really on point. He really impressed me, and I've been a fan of him for a while, and I haven't seen him in this spot yet. And there was a lot on the line for him, and it was a lot of trust being put in him because we watched Tony give that spot to Kyle O'Reilly, and he did a great job of making the match good. but I don't know if it felt main event level when he wrestled Moxley for the interim title to get into the match against Tanahashi. This match felt, you went in thinking, Brody, there's no chance he beats Moxley after a week after he wins the title. But midway through, you were like, I'm kind of believing in him a little bit. And
It's like, it
storyline
reminds me
aside,
of Moxley and Yuta, man. It reminds me of Moxley and Yuta. You think Yuta is actually going to get the win, and it's the same case. Like, Moxley's in both matches, so it just shows like how fucking good Moxley really is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Brody was, his offense is legitimate. I know that Austin just said is one of the best acts in person. His chops are brutal. There's something about presence, and he is toyetic, you know, with the tattoos and just the look when he wears that ski mask. He was what I would imagine Vader felt like when you saw him back in WCW. I know as a WWF guy growing up, we got the watered down, overweight, broken down version of Vader. But for the WCW, that monster in WCW, that was what we got. And Brody feels like he could be that. And that might be hyperbole. That might be too high of praise, but that's how impressed I was with him. I think Brody has a bright future in AEW, and Tony has to be sitting there like kind of rubbing his hands together. Like we could have a monster heel here.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong at all. I love it.
Tom, same match. Love the match. It was hard hitting. Did you see his forearms that he was nailing Mox with?
Dude, love it.
Oh yeah.
It reminds me of like proper Japanese, like, you know, stiff shit.
I love Mox, but when he usually gets into those forearm tiffs with people, it looks terrible. Like you could see he's
saying that last week, Tom. Good point.
Yeah.
And then but Brody's was so stiff looking. It's like, wow, like I wish Mox would drop that because of how bad he looks when he does it. And that's the only thing I could criticize Mox for, because I love it.
Leave it to
everything
Brody.
else he does. But yeah, like Brody looked like a star tonight. I love Brody King. I love the House of Black. Give me more. Let keep them as a faction. Let them do single shit. Let them get
take over.
Title. Let them just do everything they possibly can.
And think about what that makes people believe about House of Black. He's the number 3 or number 2, I would say, in the faction, and he took the world champions to the level. How does that make people view Malachi Black now? He's the leader of that group. He has to feel unstoppable. So really great for House of Black. Awesome showing for Brody tonight. I can't say enough nice things about it. It was awesome.
No, 100%.
By Austin, because they book their battle royals brilliantly. You can never pick who's going to win. Like a couple of years ago when Christian debuted and he was in a battle royal that Jungle Boy won, I think everybody's thinking Christian's going to win this one. And like you always think you know who it's going to be. Like I thought Darby might have been the guy who was going to face Mox last week, looking at who was in there. And it's just they shock you with Brody King. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And then to see him take advantage of the shot he got to main event a Dynamite like that, I love it. That's what I'm here for.
This is very similar to Shot Nostalgia, Mike. Because we're watching the Giant defend the title against VK Wall Street. There's one week he's defending against Jim Duggan. It doesn't always have to be guys that are always in that picture. I think watching Rampage, everyone thought, oh, it's going to be Hangman because Hangman and versus Moxley gets people to tune in. But the long-term booking of having a guy like Brody look good against Moxley is more meaningful than giving away a Moxley versus Hangman match for free on TV. And I think it was brilliant by Tony Khan to make that decision.
No, 1,000%. I mean, obviously, mine's Brody King and Mox as well. It was fantastic. It was good. It was very refreshing to see somebody take Mox to that level. That wasn't a Darby. That wasn't even a Ricky Starks or something. We haven't seen that much of Brody on the singles side of things. And I thought between the Battle Royal and this, he came off so damn strong. And like you said, I mean, imagine how that paints the House of Black, and then hopefully that puts the House of Black in a bigger position than they kind of are. I know they show up here and there and it's great and everything, but like I want more out of it. I want to see Malachi in that title picture. I want to see Brody in that title picture more now. It's fantastic. I thought it was such a fucking good thing. Like you guys said, he came off so strong and stiff. It was the perfect pairing for Jon Moxley.
He came off stiff and it made me stiff. It was a good back.
Boy, howdy.
Oh, baby.
No blue chew required, damn it. And
no
another
blue chew,
thing,
none needed.
I love that they're saving Jim Ross now for the main events and not overutilizing him so much. And I think it adds more to it. When Jim Ross came out there, it felt bigger, and I thought it was great, man.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been liking that format they've had. And again, similar to Nitro, where they used to have different announce teams for the 2 different hours of the show. Jim Ross, and now you can actually, when you're watching, you can actually be like, all right, this is the main event Jim Ross is announcing. I think it creates the atmosphere, helps create the aesthetic of a big match feel, and I think that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, didn't Jim Ross do Rampage also?
He did.
I don't. Oh yeah, he was for
Yeah,
the
he-
Royal
he-
Rampage.
Yeah.
Goddamn right he did. No, it was good. I loved it though. I even loved having him like featured on Rampage.
It's Miro, Austin. It's Miro, not Rusev.
Miro.
No,
It's
he wants them to go back in time.
It's
If I
Rusev.
can turn back time.
Yeah,
I
no
did
shoes.
Rusev.
Take off his shoes. He's
Take
got to
off
grow
his
his hair back. Have the little skinny goatee.
Here you
Yeah.
go.
Do you remember when he had mutton chops down to here?
Yeah.
I do.
that shit.
Yeah. When he was banging in tanks, he was running shit. But yeah, man, I thought this was a very fucking awesome week for AEW in general. I thought Rampage was stellar. I thought Dynamite was very good, and I'm excited for next week. They really built up the future in this. It wasn't all just matches. It wasn't all just one sided. There was some storytelling going. There's lots of good stuff, man. I thought it was great.
I have a quick question for you guys.
What?
Have you noticed anything in the booking the last couple of weeks? Because I've noticed something that makes me think we're going to be getting women's tag team titles.
Well, with Thunder and Tony, I don't know. I think we're going to get.
Thunderstorm.
But then you have
Yeah.
other women's tag team matches now. The other one's coming up on, was it Rampage? They announced another women's tag team match. If we start
really
seeing
hope
more-
not.
I hope not too, but if we start seeing more and more women's tag team matches, I feel like they're starting to build a division for that.
Well,
Well,
he has
if
a lot
they-
of belts in the kind of drafts, so who knows?
Tony 10 belts.
Yeah,
I'll be moving
Uh,
to the other side of the camp if those belts come in. I would say I don't want those belts. You
Yeah.
know,
No, you know what?
Not here for
I
it.
don't think the women's division is strong enough for tag titles
Agreed.
whatsoever. I don't. It's barely strong enough to have a women's title.
I
And
agree.
that's-
I just got that vibe from the naming the women's teams now. And
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think
true.
it's got anything to do with the talent either, though. I think it's just been off booking. They gotta figure it out. I think a lot of
they've
people.
done a lot better with the women's booking as of late.
Well, yeah, but I mean, having the TBS title and
Yeah.
the women's title is almost too much.
I agree with that 100%. I
'Cause
think
you-
you unify them
You could be having a lot better feuds if
100%.
Jade was the women's champion for as long as she's been the TBS title. But whatever,
And
it's
maybe
cool.
what they do eventually is, Jade doesn't lose, so who she have to fight? She gets to fight for the other title, and somehow
Goldberg.
with
They're
that.
gonna book Bill Goldberg to defeat the streak. God damn
Enough of my lines from the debate show we recorded today.
it!
But I mean, talking about the booking for AEW, last week was the first week that wasn't being a build towards Forbidden Door, and now we're back into the rhythm of what we're used to with All Elite Wrestling on Dynamite and
true,
getting our typical shows. So it feels nice to be back in that rhythm, and there seems to be more of a cohesion to the stories they're telling, not sort of fragmented, trying to shoehorn a Japanese star in, have a debut, build for a show. Now it feels like we're smooth rolling until we're getting to All Out, because there's a place to breathe here.
Yeah,
There's a long time before we get to a pay-per-view. I know we have Fighter Fest. We have some other special events coming out through next couple of months. I'm sure we have Battle of the Belts coming up in August, but you have some time to let the stories breathe instead of having to rush to culmination. So I'm here for it. I think Claudio versus Jake Hager will be fun next week. The
Yeah.
tag titles. Do you guys think it's possible the Young Bucks lose the titles this week? Next week, I should say. I don't think.
No.
I personally don't think so,
No
but
shot. No.
No way.
because I think they're building towards FTR versus the Bucks for all the titles.
I hope they're building for FTR versus Bucks for the titles. But I mean, I'm not against who's in the match again. It's the Bucks.
Hoobastank.
It's-
Swerve in Our
Hoobastank.
Glory, and then Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs.
I would-
Hoobastank's going to be playing The Reason on repeat.
I would blow fucking Starks and Hobbs to the moon right now.
Me
That
too,
would be
I love
such
them.
a huge thing to put on them. Oh wow, they beat the Bucks, but I don't think it's going to happen. I would hope that they're building the FTR versus the Bucks 3. But goddamn, I would not be disappointed if Starks and Hobbs walked out of there with the titles.
That's
So-
what I wanted at Revolution, man. Or was it Double or Nothing? Double or Nothing. That's what I wanted. I'm fucking on drugs.
We wanted a revolution because we want it to be televised.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
So
I think you
for
got it.
Austin's question, thoughts on the All Atlantic title? Have they moved anything forward? So much wrestling, I forget. All Atlantic title has not been on TV since it's been here. I know that Pac is defending the title at Rev Pro. I forget who he's wrestling against, but I think it was
It's
Umino. right? Shota Umino?
Shota Umino, yeah.
Yeah, Shota Umino versus Pac, and they're defending the title at Rev Pro. We have yet to see it defended here on AEW television, but Pac's the champion. We'll see when it gets showcased. Maybe we'll see it next week, but they need to build a contender for that as well, because that's an important belt to get off the ground. You need to have a strong program going into September and All Out. which I'm here for. Did they officially announce All Out is in Chicago? Is that official? I know I saw the banner.
Not yet.
It just says September 4th.
Tony
right?
kind of said something, but he didn't like really say something. It's speculation for right now. I'm hoping it's going to be here. All signs point to yes.
Yeah, I would love to know so I can book my flight. God damn it!
Right, just do it just in case and get the insurance.
True.
You could say fuck it and get out of there quick, or you could stop by and hang out with me for a few hours and then get back on the plane and go back home.
That sounds better, honestly.
Right?
We'll
if it's not here,
yeah.
it's going to be in my house and we can watch it on the big screen. It'll be great.
That honestly sounds better.
I don't know why.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, gentlemen, this was a fucking awesome episode. I'm so happy to be.
Mike, let's tell all the people about Tuesday night at 7 p.m.
Hey, how rude of you to interrupt me with huge news, Tom. Yes, I got you. I'm going to pull up the little. You got the gimmick. I don't know if I got the gimmick. You got the gimmick. He's got the gimmick. Ladies and gentlemen, this Tuesday, the Fig Father, the king of the classic superstars line from Jack's Pacific, your AEW Jazzwares massive daddy, he's going to be live in person on Fig Night. I can't get over on this thing. There he is. Look at him. Look how glorious he looks.
I feel like the Brady Bunch like this when we do this.
But yes, Jeremy Padower, the man with the plan, who's been fueling our wrestling fandom since we were kids. This is awesome. It's so excited to have him on. It's gonna be a blast. So make sure you tune in to Fig Night next Tuesday, July 12th. 6 p.m. Central.
A day after the Eastern. Icon's birthday, guys. 11th of July. Send me flowers.
It was my birthday present for you. It's just to get Jeremy. God damn
I want.
It's awesome.
You know what? We're gonna get him to do a whole rendition of Happy Birthday because why not?
Why not?
That'd be the best birthday gift ever.
Listen, and not only is it your birthday, but the Fig Night's turning 50 episodes old as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, the timing could not be better. It's a celebration, bitches.
Love it to bits.
Awesome stuff. Make sure you go check out theturnbuckletavern.com. Grab some merch, follow us, like, subscribe, share, care, give us some love here and there.
Care Bear.
The Care Bears with my hair there. Yes, theturnbuckletavern.com. I mean, we got podcast stations. You're on your YouTube, your Twitch, your TikTok, Discord, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, pro wrestling tees, spring tees. My God, if there's a bigger mouthful, it's going to be damn near broken in half, damn it. It's so good. It's so good. Call the goddamn tavern, 304-404-2004. You're going to hear it hard, and you leave your message, damn it. Voicemails for the flagship show will play on the air, just like Excalibur taking over everybody's time. It's great. There's some merch. It looks great. There's some Farms. Yeah, there's some merch. It looks great. I'm a Mike Belcaster guy. You're a Mike Belcaster guy.
Wouldn't you like to be a Mike Belcaster guy too?
I would hope so. I think you guys would. I think everybody could put me over and say they enjoy being Mike Belcaster guys. They're trying to do a good job. All right.
We are 100%.
Well, fuck, man. Until next time, it's been a blast. Anybody got anything to say? Plug that Shot of Nostalgia. Plug Nick
Rinse
Storm.
and repeat. Make sure you floss. That's all I'm going to say.
Friday, 8 p.m., we are talking about Shot of Nostalgia, the debut of Scott Hall on WCW Nitro. It is a huge, huge moment. Please join us. Hop along for the ride. And also, in a few weeks, we're doing the Bash of the Beach show. So a lot special things scheduled for that show. We're having Matt from Extra Cooler jump on with us. Maybe the Two Bad Chads. Maybe Tom. Maybe Nick. Who knows who's hopping on with us? We will have a big, big show planned for it. Shot of Nostalgia, 8 p.m. Eastern, Friday nights. Get your weekend started with us. And Nick, don't forget to mention your other show, man. You and your man. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm so glad you brought that to my bloody attention. Before Our Time officially starts next week on Friday. We're thinking maybe 6, thinking maybe 10. We don't know yet, but make sure you stay tuned to everything Turnbuckle Tavern on social medias. Before Our Time, me and young Anthony, we're going through every single WrestleMania, starting at WrestleMania 1, going through what led up to WrestleMania. And
before your time.
That's before my time for sure. Yeah, before anyone's time. Nobody got time for that. But dude, before our time, yeah, going starting from WrestleMania 1, it's gonna be a really fun thing. We're actually watching the Waters settle the score before WrestleMania 1. So, and we're getting really into it. We're gonna dissect that, get into every segment, every match. So if you're excited for that, keep up to date. It'll be here right on the Turnbuckle Tavern's YouTube channel. It'll be streaming live, and it'll be a really, really fun time before our time next Friday, guys. Make sure you check out Fig Night as well. Like my good friends mentioned, Jeremy Padawa is on this freaking. I want to say this here as well. This is kind of cool little tidbit. When I first started doing interviews, maybe in 2020, I wrote down goals. It was to have My Damn Toys interview him, My Damn Toys, and we did that. That was one of the goals. And another goal is interview Jeremy Padawa. That was the highest one. And I can't believe we're going to do that. It's going to be a really, really fun time. We've got some great questions for him. And I'm glad. I know you guys will have some great questions in the chat as well. Make sure you get in here, hop in the live chat, ask some questions. We'll pull them up. And everything else you can see at, yeah, there you go. Look at his beautiful face, man. Sam Figs told me a story. He called him J-Dog and then never responded to him ever again. So J-Dog, we're gonna have J-Dog on the tavern on Fig Night.
We're not having you on Fig Night, dude.
So J-Dog, guys, here it is. It's gonna be J. We're gonna call him J-Dog.
Endeavor.
I'm kidding. But yeah, you can find all of that and more at Next Storm Review here. And yeah, on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, whatever the freaking MySpace, OnlyFans, fired.
Yes, fired.
Just don't call him. Look, just don't call him J-Dog, and we should be fine.
Yeah. Or there you go. We'll probably keep.
This is the true J-Dog. This is Jesus right here.
J-Dog right there.
Probably refrain from showing that one too. just a hunch here. It probably might not be a good idea.
Yeah, here I got something for Tom.
How to cancel your friends in 10 seconds.
Mike, I knew what you meant.
I love it. It's all good. Well, anyway, until next time, scissors me, daddy. We'll catch you next week. Thanks for watching the wrap up. Hairbrush me, daddy.